What is up, YouTube? Welcome out to Take a Hike with Jim this Tuesday. Let me finish getting everything set up and we'll go from there as always. You folks know the drill by this point of how this works. So, chat is open and very much the show is going to depend on you tonight out there in YouTube land, okay? It's going to depend on you. As this week, we didn't put the questions out there. We didn't put the questions out there asking option A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. We just simply said, you know what? We dropped the ball. We're not making excuses. We got too tied up in everything else that was going on. And so we didn't get no questions out there. So what ended up happening was now we have to turn around and we have to do a live questions and answer session. So you're going to ask the questions in the chat box or start the conversation live in the chat command box over on my right side of my screen. There's the kitty cat. She is here to please you today. And also we will try to answer them. Now we have absolutely zero what this is going to be about when it comes to the questions. We have no idea. We go from there. All we know is we got the nice Take a Hike with Jim t-shirt. If you know, you know. The OG shirt right now that is currently available on Buy Me a Coffee. And speaking of Buy Me a Coffee, we have the OG mug that matches the OG shirt right on Buy Me a Coffee as well. Nice cup. We're going to get into that. The handle and the inside, we got different collars, but the outside kind of stays the same for the OG cup. But we got some new logos and stuff, as you all know. So we're going to dive in and we're going to get there. Okay, so until we start getting some questions and different things, until we can start getting some conversation to pop up here on the channel for our Tuesday Night Live, just off the top of my head, like I said, I have nothing pre-planned, nothing going from there. I wanted to talk to you guys and gals out there about this whole concept of a 25 to 30 liter pack for a through hiking bag. Now, in saying that, we're not doing it. Let me put that out there first. We are not doing that. But it is something that we want to throw out there to the universe, right? Just to get some conversation and stuff going tonight. So would it be possible to do a through hike with a 25 liter bag? So, and that's what we're going to ask. So some people have said yes, some people have said no. It has been suggested by AI, and we all know how we feel about AI when it comes to the hiking and through hiking and all that kind of stuff. It has been suggested that with AI that you could potentially do it with a 25 liter pack, but 30 is the base recommendation of AI. So granted, AI does not have the factor of carrying the food and all this other stuff that goes into it. So, I don't know. We opened it up. We put it out there. And we had some very interesting comments on Facebook about it. That was very interesting. And then we turned around. We put it out there here on YouTube, which Sparky responded. So, we're going to go over here and see what Sparky 1 had to say while we're waiting on you folks to come over. Because this is not about reading your comments tonight. But I did want to read this one. So, Sparky put, not possible. The least I've seen a through hiker use is 40 liters for a spring/summer through hike, and that was the carrying bare minimum, the lightest of everything, and he slept in his hiking clothes, had no spare socks, carried only 4 days of food at most, and didn't have camera equipment. The food bag is 10 to 20 liters all by itself. So, with the food bag being 10 to 20 liters, and my bear bag is about a 20 liter bag. So, in saying that, food is, somebody on Facebook had put food is the number one thing that we would have to account for. That nobody really counts for it, right? Nobody really counts for it when they're doing their pack and stuff because you get your dry weight, your base weight. Excuse me, whatever. So, in saying that, with food and water being on average of what? 6 to 10 pounds, depending on how much did you take out with water and food and everything. Is it possible? I don't know if it's possible or not to take the 25 liter to 30 liter pack. I do know that it is something that I'm not going to try. It was something I was considering. I will admit that I was highly considering it because I can get my pack weight down extremely down and go from there. So maybe that's something we talk about tonight. Maybe we get into the ultralight packs. Maybe we get into what it takes for that. Also, tonight we can go ahead and we can talk about making things for our through hike, right? Making things for our through hike. What does it take? You have some different things already at your ready, at your available. We are going to be doing a special live very soon. Versus from Tuesday, or a special video. I won't say live, but a video from Tuesdays and Fridays or whatever. But it's not going to be a live. This is going to be a video. We are going to make our own cozy, which people have done. So we're going to show how you make your own cozy. We got the sunshade and we got the duct tape, right? And we're also going to use a piece of this to make a wind block for our stove and also a cozy for our mug, right? For our mug. So for our cup. So we'll be showing videos on how we do that coming up. So it's just very, very interesting to see. But yeah, like I said, this week we dropped the ball. We usually put the questions out there and we ask question 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we're going to give it a few minutes as we sit here and talk to you, take a couple of sips of double Java, and then we will get into some kind of a topic until we start getting some people to come in and join chat. We started about 10 minutes early, so that's just how it goes. Meanwhile, if you are just now tuning in or if you are here, you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and go ahead and support the channel. Every Tuesday night, 6:30, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around there, we do this show where throughout the week, you vote on the question. We have a poll. We have 4 questions. You vote on what one you want to do. We prepare for that and we go from there. This week we dropped the ball. We didn't get the question out in time, so we're doing it this way. Friday Night Live is appreciation, subscriber appreciation, as you know, where we come on here and we read your comments and go from there. I think the cat's got the best idea of everybody. The cat is just laying here, going to sleep, and she knows when that camera's on. She knows when that camera's on, and she is like drawn to it, like a fly to like a moth to a flame type of deal. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and dig on in. We're gonna do something, even if it ain't right. So we've been doing some videos and everything. So let's just get into something. Let's get into some kind of questions here. Let's get into something here. We'll even take off of last week's. Until somebody starts asking questions. Tonight's about you asking the questions live, and as you ask the questions, we try to answer them to the best of our ability if it comes to that. So we will go ahead and maybe we'll address some questions that did not get answered along the way. So let's go on down here and let's see what we have as we go down. We scroll through the community page. Give me a second. The questions that did not get selected, right? It's another week, so that's the first one. Vote number 2, so we should be coming up to vote number 1 here is what I'm looking for. And nope, that's the poll. It's that time again. So let's see. Scrolling down. Give me a minute. I'm not always looking here. I'm looking here and here on my other screens, as you folks well know. It's that time again. Let's see, which one's this one? No. All right. We're getting there. Just Just give me just 1 second. Well, I thought we were getting there. Anyway. So, anyhow, that didn't even work out the way I wanted it to. Let's go up here and see. I'm just trying to find one of the areas of one of the questions that we asked and was going from there. Still crunching numbers, the chat, that's a poll, I have so many posts on here. It ain't even funny, right? That's the problem. Give me just 1 second. So let's do this question for now until we get one. Final checks and balances before stepping out on trail. Know your gear and that you're happy and you trust it, right? So, yeah, let's do that one. Final checks and balances on your gear. Let's go with that. So to do final checks and balances on our gear. So I think we're going to talk about, when we talk about final checks and balances on our gear, and making sure that it is what we want and it works the way it's supposed to. I think we need to look at shakedown hikes, right? And what our shakedown hikes look like, and you know how many shakedowns you go on. Now, in saying that, I've had several people to over the course of this preparing and getting ready to tell me that, okay, well, you need to do a couple 3-day hikes, couple 2-day hikes. I've had people to tell me you need to do hikes, you know, go out 7, 8, 10 times, whatever. So here's the situation. Here's where we're at logistically when it comes to that, right? So logistically, when it comes to testing your gear, trusting your gear, knowing what gear is right for you. You can never go wrong when talking about gear. Kat, why did we not start about talking about gear? We love talking about gear. When it comes to those types of things, I am finding out from firsthand that you can overtrain. You can overtrain. You can put yourself in a situation to where either you tire yourself out, you have wear and tear on your gear itself, or even your own body and stuff like that. I mean, we had a interesting interview with Wolfie Hikes, and of course, Wolfie starts. The clock's ticking, Wolfie. January 1st will be here before you know it, and you'll be down there in Amicalola making your way, right? Making your way to Mount Katahdin, and this year you're going to make it. There's no doubt in my mind that this year is going to be your year for you to make it. But we was talking about when you started out on the interview with Wolfie, when he was training, as far as overtraining and overdoing whatever. He said, man, I started out, I was doing high miles. I started passing people. I started doing great, numbers and everything. And all of a sudden I got down around Fontana Dam somewhere. And he said, and then that was my knee. There it goes. Boom, done. So hike over, right? So that's just what we got to look at, right? You can overtrain. So when trusting your gear and people's talking about, hey, Hike with Mike, what's up? So far, I think it's just me and you, brother. And we're just filling in with questions that didn't get asked from the other weeks until people start asking questions live tonight. So anyway, so people say, well, you need to go out, 10 days, 3 days, 6 days, 7 days. Go out and do these tests. Go out and do these camps before you can get on the trail. So I think that you can over-prepare even mentally. Okay? I think you can over-prepare even mentally. Physically, we know it can happen. I mean, my feet are already sore. My knee, I got a sprained MCL. And it was all due to training and stuff like that. So we're kind of taking it easy on what hikes we do and different things between now and a couple weeks or whatever, kind of trying to get healed up just a little bit. But in saying that, if you get out there and you're camping and you're doing all this stuff in the woods and stuff to prepare yourself to get in the woods, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I'm saying you can find yourself in a situation where it's overkill, right? You find yourself in a situation where it's complete burnout. And I think that happens quite a bit more than people would like to react. But how to know you trust your gear and how to know to finalize on what gear you want, which kind of leads into the question I put out earlier about the pack. Because, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I had this day pack. It's a 20 liter, and I'm pretty sure I can fit just about most. Better be over-prepared than under-prepared. There you go. I think that I can fit most of my gear in that 20 liter pack on that review if you watched it that you've seen. And then it's got me asking questions about what was the smallest pack carried. Somebody claimed that they carried a 25 liter pack, so I put it out there. Is it even possible? We had a lot of people, we read the comment at the beginning of this, where Sparky said it probably wouldn't even be possible. But in saying that, then how does ultralight hikers do it? Because, you know, I'm just going to be honest with you. You got to get your pack weight down. Your overall pack itself, in order to make that ultralight weight, I'm thinking your pack don't need a pound, pound and a half, 2 pounds at absolute max when it comes to weight and when it comes to your overall backpack itself. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. So Hike with Mike here said better to be over prepared than underprepared. The RV used to have a saying that used to say that you could never overtrain, but you could underprepare. And sometimes I agreed with that statement. Sometimes I disagreed with it. You heard me say it in one of my videos as I was doing a winter hike or whatever. I think that sometimes we can over prepare. It's like he said, better to be over prepared than under prepared. I think we can. I really do think we can be over prepared and go from there. So, you know, and like I said, this week's about you folks asking the questions. Y'all have any questions or comments to go from there? We can always jump in. We're just asking. We're just going through here and looking at some different ones that we haven't got to really touch. How does one choose the day hikes for through hiking? How does one choose the day hikes for through hiking when training for something like the Appalachian Trail? Okay, so this is kind of weird. So for me, I can't speak for a lot of people. I know, like my friend Jason, it's on here, whatever, one of our subscribers. He's helping me out, hooking me up with a lot of technological stuff that I didn't have and gizmos and stuff, so I appreciate that. But in saying that, he does a lot of long hikes and all these things, but he's not preparing for the AT yet. Eventually, I think he will do the AT. It's just not in the realm of possibility right now for him. But anyway, so in saying that, how does one choose which hikes and day hikes to go on? Me personally, I look at, number one, what kind of training can I get from that hike? So, and I break down the training into different areas. Okay, can I get cold weather training out of my day hike? Can I get, is it going to be an elevation hike? Is it going to be pretty much a hike where I know there's not going to be nobody out there or hardly ever anybody, and it's got some miles to it, so it's going to be a miles type of thing? Is it going to be a distance hike? Is it going to be just something I want to get out there just to say, hey, talk on the camera for a few minutes type of thing hike? You know, to get used to that, because all of that goes, even sitting here doing these lives and things, this all plays in. This all plays into part of the training and the mindset of being a through hiker, right? Especially if you want to vlog the whole way. Now, if you didn't want to vlog the whole way, okay, so maybe you don't have to take the camera in the woods to talk to it and stuff like we do. But if you want to be a vlogger and you've never been a vlogger, you got to learn how to do that, right? So that's just where we're at. So that even becomes part of it. So when you're choosing your day hike and you're choosing what it is that you want out of a day hike when training for Appalachian Trail, I always look for, number one, the elements of it. Where's it at? Can I get some elevation, no elevation? Weather, like I said, is it something I can get to where I will be out there just a little bit, maybe something nobody ever goes on. So there always has to be something that I'm using it for to train for and go from there. So when you go way past your budget, which me and Lisa's talked about this, when you go way past your budget, how to get back on track when preparing for the Appalachian Trail? Very good question. When training, when you blow past your budget, how to get back on budget when training for Appalachian Trail. For me, when it come to gear and it came to all this stuff, when it especially come to gear, you've heard me say I've blown way past my budget 10 times over. I mean, it's or like at least 3 or 4 times over. It's been horrendous what the gear budget was, because just like anybody else who goes, I think goes out for this whole through hiking thing. I think that we see the newest and shiniest object, and it's like, ooh, we got to go with that. Just like, give you an example, I was on Garage Grown Gear, and they do have already some home, some cozies and stuff on there that's already made, but they're like 40 and 50 bucks. When I can just go to Big Lots, get this car shade for $5. I can make up to 4 cozies with this if I want. I only need 1 cozy. So I'm making 1 food cozy out of it. I'm making a pot cozy out of it and a windbreak, and probably will still have left over. And I got it all for $4.99, right? So in saying that, how to get back on budget, you got to write down your stuff. You just do. And at some point, you got to say no more gear. No more gear. What I have to dial in and go from there. No more gear. I mean, just like yesterday, we was talking about the Garmin watch and everything. I thought I had a Garmin watch still in a box here. I do not have a Garmin watch in a box here. So I knew that I had gotten one, but where it's at, I can't tell you. I don't know where it's at in the midst of all that stuff. So in saying that, I was like, I got to get a Garmin watch that does all this stuff. Me and Jason was talking about it, and I can do this, 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 and this. And it's just like, you get online and you look at the pricing and you look at the stuff, and it's like, oh my God, that's another $200-$300 in, at minimum at my budget. It's like, no, and you start thinking about other packs and all this other stuff, try to get your weight lighter and all these things, and it's just, more and more. And it just never ends, as far as there's always going to be something shinier. There's always going to be something lighter. There's always going to be a way to carry it a little easier than what you are. So eventually you just have to have the discipline. Write down what you have in front of you, which is why I like lighterpack.com. You put down what is exactly, and you just leave it. You just leave it, and you just got to have the discipline of saying, you know what, no, I'm not going with another piece of gear. It's just not happening. And then to get back on budget, you have to define what your budget is. Is it a food budget at that point? Is it a town budget at that point? Is it a gear replacement if something happens to that point? What can you fix with duct tape, Gorilla Tape? What can you not fix with duct tape, Gorilla Tape? Stuff like that. You got to start really focusing in on the budget things that matter, and that's where we're at right now. It's food for us, right? And we're starting to chip away at that just a little bit. Not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, considering it's a Mount Rushmore, except a couple double Java. But in saying that, we are chipping away at it, and it's because our subscribers, and plus ethic and discipline and all this other things, that we're starting to really chip away at it just a little bit. We're starting to make not a big dent, but a very small dent, but nonetheless it's there. So then you just got to define what is your budget and where is it you're putting that money, right? Where is it you're putting that money? And for me, my gear is done. I'm just telling y'all out there. So for people, it's like, you need to try this, or you need to try that, or you need to try this. I got 2 more small pieces of thing I got to buy. I got to buy a sleeve over here that goes on my pack for my water bottle here, so I don't have to reach around there and put it here, or I can buy a hose that goes around and drops in. One of the two, whichever 2 is the cheaper. And then I want to buy one of the little sleeves for this side to drop my phone in. That's it. That's it on gear, because at that point, I could keep nickel, penny, and diming this thing and go, ooh, I need this. Ooh, I need that. Ooh, this looks good. Ooh, that's flashy. Ooh, I need it. And before long, you got a buttload of stuff like I already got that's not going to make the cut, and it's not going to go. So define what your budget is, where you need it the most, sit down and say, okay, when it comes to gear, check, I'm done, right? Now, food, what's it going to take? And start dialing it in. So the way, and I talked a little bit about this last week, so the way we do the food and dialing the food, we go over and get us a buggy. We go to Kroger's or Walmart, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through every aisle, and I'm going to sit down with my calculator, which is on my phone. I'm going to get exactly what I want for what would take 7 days out in the field for me. If I was going to be out in the field 7 days, when I say the field, that's Army talk for being out on trail. If I'm going to be out in the field for 7 days and I want to eat 3 meals a day, this is what I got to buy. This is how much this costs. This is how much I can get this for. How cheap can I get my meals? Still hitting my count around my calorie count. Still having good enough food to get me through 3 or 4 days till I come to town to get me a very decent cheeseburger, hamburger, Trail Magic, whatever that I can get my hands on once I come to town for something. And I push the buggy around, I fill it up, and I sit down and calculate it. And I'm like, okay, so that's falling about anywhere from 12 to 17. So we're going to try to hit at $15 a day on our budget. So this is how that happens. And we got to get rid of this to get this, and go from there. Just like give you an example, peanut butter. I'm real big on peanut butter in real life anyway. I love peanut butter. So now, granted, in the woods, you got to be careful. There is people that have very much peanut butter and nut allergies and stuff. So there's this big topic: should it be allowed in the woods? Should it not be allowed in the woods? What can you do to make it safe or unsafe, or make it safer versus unsafe? I get it, I understand, but at the same time, I love peanut butter. So I'll be as careful as I can and everything. But they make the little packs, the Jiffy packs and stuff. So I'm looking into stuff like that. But when it comes to food budget, that's how we do it. We just pushed it right on the buggy, filled it up for 7 days, said this is what it takes. This is how much food I want to eat for 7 days. Boom, multiplied it times 4. Said, boom, that's our budget for the month. Multiplied that times 7. Boom, that's for 7 months, 214 days. There you go. There's our budget. Now, am I going to eat the same stuff every single day or every single week for the next 214 days? Nope. Sparky! Sparky made it. Right? No, we're not going to do that. Nobody's asking questions, so we're just going back and looking at questions we used to have so far. Sparky, maybe we didn't talk about them enough or as much, and going with that until people start asking questions. We're having conversation. So over in chat. So, but anyway, yeah, I just with the budget. So then you got to look at your gear replacement. You got to look at your gear replacement and go from there. So when it comes to gear replacement, could you have to replace something as big as an air mattress? Yeah, you could. But duct tape might be able to fix it. They come with patch kits and those things. You can purchase patch kits at outfitter stores, stuff like that. Sometimes companies, depending on your pad, you can switch it out, switch it in, trade it out and in, whatever, they'll hook you up. Same thing with your tents and stuff like that, depending on the warranty, the quality tent, and the company you bought it from. Nemo is real good to work with. Gossamer is real good to work with. I think Big Agnes is real good to work with. See, the Summit, I know personally, is really good to work with. Black Diamond on some of their equipment might be good to work with. On their trekking poles, anyway, so instead, still not giving them anything on their trekking poles. Just not doing it. Just not going to do it. I refuse. But anyway, so in saying that, you got to start looking at, how much is a pair of shoe replacement? If I had to replace a mat, blah, 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 blah. And then you just sit down and have you a nice emergency fund budget that you got to have. Late, but I'm here. What's up, Jason? Nobody's asking questions yet, so we're just going off of former questions. So right now we're talking about how to get back on budget. So anyway, as you turn and you look at it and you say, okay, well, trail runner shoes, I might be able to get 400 to 500 mile out of them. They run about anywhere from $135 to $160 a pair, depending on which ones you get. They can be higher. So we'll say $150. That's a happy medium. You're going to have 2 or 3 of those at least, maybe 4 pair, but maybe 3 pairs. So then you just sit down and you start adding up and write down, this is how much I got to have just for shoes. And that goes in its own separate fund. It don't get touched for food. It don't get touched for gear. That's for when you're out on trail and you got to replace shoes. That's what that pot of money's for. It don't get touched for nothing else. The only time it gets touched is if you need a pair of shoes, which, once again, I've had to do that twice now, and now I'm having to refill that shoe fund, right? And we're already starting to have to put that stuff back in there, right? So, and then you look at it, you say, okay, well, you get out there, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in hiker boxes. We've talked about that. So there's going to be a lot of gear and a lot of stuff you can replace in hiker boxes. I've seen people that's lost their trekking poles, or they've broke, or whatever the case may be, and there's been actually even trekking poles in hiker boxes. I've seen people that's found, stuff for hydration in hiker boxes. I've seen people that's claimed that they have ate on 2 different trails over 500 miles with very little help otherwise than the hiker boxes. So there's a lot going to be done there to help keep you on budget. And then discounted gear. When you get into places where you can get discounted gear and different things, or maybe you're running somebody on trail that just wants to get rid of something that you thought originally you wanted to try and they haven't. Maybe it's worth a couple of bucks to them, or a sandwich, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you can do some good old-fashioned horse trading. You know what I mean? But in saying that, get back on budget can be very difficult once you get off budget. And I think every single one of us that is prepared to do a through hike, when it comes to gear, gets off budget. I think that's 100% across the board. And people say, no. I think it's 100%. I think if we're all honest, we all come into this with a mindset of what the budget's going to be for the through hike, and it gets blown out the water. It gets blown out the water, completely out the water, right? So then it's this down back in. Like I said, me and Lisa was talking about, we're not the ones to really be asking about gear budgets, because me and Lisa, we went through it, right? We blew through our budget quite a bit. So we'll jump back over here. We had talked about very well as much as, because like I said, until people start asking questions, we're just going to go back and look at some of our old questions. Maybe some of the ones that got answered, some of them that didn't, and just kind of revisit them. One of the ones right there was just about financial. Everybody seems to really want to know about the finances and stuff the most. That seems to be the most. And then, I watched a video on a gentleman that he would stop and interview people, and he'd say, how do you afford to do this, and what's it look like job-wise? That's a good question, okay? So let's dive into that, because I got a friend that's on here right now, it's a subscriber. What's it look like job-wise? And I have a friend earlier today that she's having some life issues. She's on Facebook, and she's supposed to be a 2026 through hiker as well. And she has some things. So let's look at some of these other issues that go with this. Not just the financial, not just the other stuff. Until we start getting any kind of conversation or whatever in the chat, we'll just go with it, right? So just off the top of our head. So for years, I worked for the federal government, right? So I was in the United States Army, and after the Army, I worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs. After Department of Veterans Affairs, I worked for the Military Entrance Processing Command Station. That's where you process people into the military. And then I decided to leave there and go to barber school and went barber shops so I could be more of an entrepreneur, independent, work for DoorDash, Instacart, all that stuff, and never looked back. But in saying that, back when I did have federal jobs, and I worked for the VA for some time in the federal government for 15, 16 years, you only had a certain amount of leave. You only had a certain amount of whatever every year. So this is what I found out throughout the year as working all those years. In 15, 16 years of working for the federal government, I had 2 vacations, too. And it wasn't because I didn't have the leave or whatever. I was raised in a family. I had kids. I had responsibilities. I had to do different things. But it always seemed something come up that you'd have to use your leave throughout the year. So when it come time for your vacation, you'd have to try to plan around a holiday or whatever. And then it just depended on what administration was in, and depending on what gas money was, what the cost of living was, all this other stuff. Hotel prices constantly going up and through the roof. So, it was a matter of financial too. So in 15, 16 years when I was working for the federal government, 2 vacations, and none of them for longer than I think my longest vacation in the federal government, I took 5 days off. We went on a 2 to 3 day hiatus, as I call it, South Carolina, and then came back, and that was it. It just is what it is, because, I tell people all the time, I flew in C-130s, C-150s, and stuff like that, and I flew in commercial airplanes and stuff too. So at 30,000 feet, everything looks blue. I'm 45 years old, and I've yet to put my feet in the ocean. I've never stood in the ocean, never done it. So, you come to a part of your life to where you look at it and you got to say, am I living, am I surviving? And that's kind of where I was when I decided to go to barber school and step out and do DoorDash, Instacart, all that other stuff, versus being tied down. So where am I going with that? I'm going with this. So I have a friend that's getting ready. She was getting ready to step out on Appalachian Trail. She don't know if she's going to step out on Appalachian Trail 2026 now or not. due to some other family stuff. And like I told her, I said, look, there's always going to be that one more thing in your way from keeping you from stepping out on the trail. Really sit down, really think about this, and really try to get an understanding. Have a conversation with the person involved, that's the other person in the conversation, see where it goes from there, and have an adult conversation about it, and really put some time and thinking into it. This is what I'm here to tell you. You're never going to have enough time away from your job. You're never going to make enough money. You're never going to have enough opportunity. There's always going to be something else stepping your way when it comes time to do what it is you want to do. So when it comes time, and then by that time you hit retirement age. Retirement age is what, 62, 63, 64, 65, maybe even older, but I think it's what, minimum 65 now or something like that. So by the time you start getting around that age, what can you do? I mean, yeah, granted, we had somebody do the Appalachian Trail this year, what, in their 80s and in their 90s, but in their 80s for sure. That is a minute, small shot in the dark, small window, small chance of success there. I mean, we can probably go back and look at all the ones that's done it around that age range and still have fingers on her hand left over, okay? That's completed it. And I mean, and really completed it and got a point where they enjoyed it. So you got to come to a point. You got to ask yourself, what is it do I want? You know, what is it do I want? And people always like, you know, well, it's my job. You know, especially here in West by God. I can't speak about other states. I don't know. But I can tell you here that in West by God, that good jobs are hard to come by. Death and taxes, the only thing that you can avoid. So those things when you can't. There you go, death and taxes, right? And even when you die, it costs your family taxes. Well, at least it does in the state of West Virginia. So you can't even get out of that, right? But it's saying that, so you know you have your you have your budget, right? And you have all this stuff planned and over the years, and it just never comes to happen because there's always going to be that one thing. And when it comes to your job, like I was saying, right here in West by God, it's hard to come by good jobs. They're not coal mining jobs. They're not seasonal jobs. They're not military jobs. It's hard to come by a good job in West Virginia. So when you get a very good paying job here, you tend to just grab onto it, latch onto it, and hold onto it. And there was a lot of days, and he put, I love my job, but I work remotely. No way is there a job locally I could do in the same field or same salary and benefits. And I coming from West by God, Jason, I understand it. I get it, brother. I understand. And Lisa said, on my mom's probate right now, saying, sorry you lost your mom, but I understand. I had to go through the same thing. 2017 when I lost my dad, and then a couple years later when I lost my sister. So I understand what you're going through, Miss Lisa, and I'm sorry about your loss. Toughest time of year, but I understand. But so yeah, I mean, I understand, Jason, 100% what you're saying when you say, no way there's a job locally I can do the same for what I do, salary and benefits. I get it. Trust me, I understand. But at the same time, I personally came to a point to one day I just said, what am I doing? Every day I got up and I go to work, and one of my best friends' moms used to work over to VA where I worked, and every day she'd be like, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. I love the VA. I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. And then one day, she just wasn't there anymore. She came in, she cleaned out her office, and she was gone. And she had like 17, 18 years in with the government. She was so close to that national government retirement. And she just went out to the private sector. And I always wondered about that until I got there. You know, there's always going to be, and I'm going to put this back over to the trail, there's always going to be that one thing or that job or that sense of whatever that it's just going to stomp you. I lost mom 10 years ago. Sorry about that, Jason. For probate, just go down. Just go heads down and get it done. That's the only thing you can do. Only thing you can do is just grit, bear it, and get it done. One thing we got to get through that we just don't want to. But so when it comes to job, Jason, trust me, and folks out there that's got the jobs, you're like, man, I would love to do Appalachian Trail, but with work, I can't take that much time off. I'm not able to find a replacement job. Trust me, I get it. I get it. It's not falling on deaf ears, and I'm not judging. I was there for a very long time. And then there's just a point, I just wanted to discover what it was like to live, not survive. To live. If you have it and you don't have it, you need to go to YouTube and you need to watch the video Steve Harvey done. Just type in Steve Harvey Jump. Watch that video. Steve Harvey, Jump. Just watch that. He has a book out too called Jump. Read that book. It was phenomenal. So we're gonna move. We'll move on. Let's see. We've already went through those questions. Those questions anyway. So let's look at. Wow, I thought I had more than that. I guess I didn't. Let's see. Because everybody likes to talk about gear. Let's get back on gear, shall we? So, is there any gear that I wish that I could change out at this point? You know, honestly, no. The gear that I got that I've changed out that's either on its way and I'm going to try out, or the gear that I have, I think I'm going to be good. I think I'm going to be 100% okay with that. And with the gear that I have, we've talked about that. I'm going off of old questions. Go from there. And Jason's like, love me some gear. Oh man, I love some gear. So anyway, Jason, you'll understand what I'm going to say. So Waterstone over here in Fayetteville, West Virginia, they are kind of like a rock climbing, hiking, biking, kind of an outdoorsy store type thing. Real small, mom and pop shop. The person that's head of the media department over there, she's actually a former thru hiker of the PCT. I'm actually going to try to start talking to him and setting it up so we can, yes, I want to take the Duristan Dome instead of the Pro Tent, kinda. There you go. So, yeah, there you go. That's a good question. Switching out tents. I switched out tents. You helped me switch out tents. So I understand that. The Duristan, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the non-nylon trek pole tent, correct? If I'm correct. They have a mid. They have a one person. They have the two person. I think they have the mid as well. I've seen some videos on. I think the mid and them things they run. They're not cheap, so to speak, I would say, but they are a great tent, right? But yes, I've changed that out. But anyway, so working with a local gear store to try to get some gear review videos out for them as well. As far as gear changing out, we're changing out my pad. It's on the way, thanks to help from a subscriber and what we had. We sold some stuff here personally, some personal stuff. So we was able to get the money together to get the pad. We got us the new beanie that we wanted. The only thing, I'm going to be honest with you, if I had one thing right now that I say I could change out, that if I could change it out, it's my rain gear. The Frog Togs, I have the Mid X2 and the Pro. The dome is free standing. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so the dome's freestanding. I didn't know. Good call on the Duration J3 hikes. Good call on the Duration Dome 1 plus use the Colorado Trail. There you go. I just got the PACT Ultra Lounge bathroom kit today in the mail. Laugh out loud, and I just do day hikes. Listen, okay, we'll get to that. There's a lot there to unpack, but listen. If I had the one thing that changed, I like my Frog Togs. Y'all saw the video where I got in the shower and tried everything out and everything, so it worked out pretty well for us as far as that goes. But they're bulky. They take up a lot of space. They're hard to fold. They're hard to manipulate. The top is anyway. I've done away with the bottoms. We're not taking the bottoms. So I don't know. I mean, if I had one thing I'd change out, maybe gear-wise, it'd be my rain gear. So she said I have the X-Mid 2 and the Pro. The dome is freestanding. So, Lisa, tell us about this X-Mid 2 and the Pro. What do you like? What do you dislike? I mean, is there, being you want to switch out? Well, I mean, what's the one thing that makes you want to switch it? Good call, the Duration Dome Plus 1 used on Colorado. Now, Jason puts, I got to answer this. Jason puts, I got my packed ultra light basket today in the mail. And I just do day hikes. Listen, everywhere I go, I don't care if it's a day hike, man. Everywhere I go, let me show you something. The poop kit is right there with me. My bidets, my shovel, my stuff. My poop kit is with me everywhere I go. Hands down, just the way that it is. Because let me tell you something. There ain't nothing worse than getting caught out on a day hike in the woods and having to go take a number 2, and it's just like you got to find leaves, you got to scurry, you got to find something to try to dig your cat hole. Then the whole use of, is it leaves? Is it not leaves? Do I use mulch? It's bad. I'm just wanting to do it over. I'm just waiting to do overnight camping hikes locally. As far as tents, I'm looking at the natural hike tents. Heard good things about them for the money. Natural hike, I have some natural hike gear that I have that it's not. It didn't make the cut for a through hike. It would be interesting to take it out like on the Greenbrier Valley River Trail and some stuff like that and go from there. Maybe, let's see. I'm gonna call Jason's bluff here. We're gonna call Jason's bluff. He's been wanting to do a night hike and he's been wanting to do some stuff. So I'm gonna call Jason's bluff. I need to do a shakedown hike, at least one night shakedown hike. It is winter time. So how about we plan after January, after first year, going out somewhere in Greenbrier County, say, I don't know, the Allegheny Trail or somewhere like that, Jason. Just make sure it ain't no blizzard conditions, but still go out and do about, I don't know, 6 miles or so and set up and do a shakedown hike. Let me know if you're in. Lisa says, I love them both, but the safety of the freestanding, I don't worry about where I can put it and putting rocks and stakes, etc. The pro, I got because of the weight, and I know it's dumb to dish out money. No. Listen. Stop. Break. It's not dumb to dish out money. It's not dumb to dish out money because I'm just going to be honest with you. Let me be 110% honest with you. And if there's anybody on here right now that's talking that knows about blowing through their budget on gear, it's me and Lisa. Listen, you get what you pay for. Okay, so I know there's some good companies that got some good gear out there that is reasonably priced, right? But in saying that, you get what you pay for. I'm just saying. So that's a firm believer in me. So rather have the poop kit and not need it than need it not have it. Heck yeah, JB Not Lost. I have been there, dude. Funny story, real quick. I'm not going to try to get into any type of details. Funny story. So, gross details. I was out on a day hike, man. The urge hits. If you know, you know. You got to go. You know. You're like, oh, my God. So, I'm following the protocols. I'm trying to get off trail as far as I can. There's a lot of day hiking trails around here. So, and for Jason to know, this is off the Kmore Trail, so he knows exactly the area. So, you either got straight down the hill or you got straight up the hill. There's nothing in between there. So, I end up taking and kind of working my way and dropping down over the hill. And I, then I'm fumbling around trying to find, where to do my business, find something to dig a hole. I just couldn't hold it no more. So I found an area to do my business, done my business. It was in the fall, it's a little bit cold. I'm like, man, what, wiping, not wiping, whatever. Heck, right there's the river. So I just go over, get in the river, kind of clean myself up, clean myself off, that type of deal. Come to get back out, I'm like, okay, I got to bury this up because, I don't got my poop shoveled up like that. Just can't leave it on the ground, leave no trace. Didn't have nothing to dig a hole with. So, just stack some rocks around it. And it kind of looks like that there was maybe a little gnome that died there at one time and died in battle. I even put a little cross on it and a pile of rocks. So, there you go. So, I'd rather have the poop kit than not for a dome, but fear thing. Yeah, so I had a freestanding tent. I've had two of them. I had a Nemo Aurora 2-person. The footprint was huge. This tent was a very awesome tent to have, but the weight was extraordinarily much. It was like 5-6 pounds. That's a no-go. Then we went with the Dragonfly, 1-person, and it was phenomenal. A little bit claustrophobic. Didn't have enough room for a big guy like me in there a lot. My dream tent was always Gossamer the 2. Of course, you know that. Now know that. And we got that. And I absolutely love that tent. So I find the track pole tents easier to set up than the freestanding tents. But anyway, it's just me. Of course, you could deal with condensation and some other issues, but we got to do whatever. He said, yeah, Jay says, let's go. So, yeah, we need to make that happen. I do a night hike. I don't have a tent right now, so overnight for me. Jason, I got you hooked up, brother. Check it out, man. I got 2 extra tents at my disposal. I got a Nemo Aurora 2-person, and I got a Nemo Dragonfly. So you can't use the tent. And I got a 20-degree quilt that hasn't been used, or sleeping bag Boom. There we go. And if I had to, I got a Sea to Summit air mat. So, see, I got the gear, brother. I got the gear. All we need is the opportunity. Next. Anyway, I got Squawk hoodie in this week. $60 compared to that over 100 Sky Goat. They are both good. I'm a Sky Goat guy. I looked at the Squawk stuff. I haven't ordered nothing yet for Squawk. I am a Sky Goat hoodie guy. Everybody knows that I am. I love my Sky Goat stuff. I just bought the beanie. Bought my wife a hoodie. Got me one as well for just hiking. I'm thinking about getting one more. I haven't made my mind up about that yet. J3 Hikes, but good call. So yeah. So back to the rain gear. So I've been looking at some Pagoda. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it wrong. Different rain gear and stuff. But if there's one thing I could trade out, it'd be my rain gear. Definitely my rain gear would be one of the things that, and that's pretty much the only thing that I can feel like that I would change out at this point. If given the total option, there's nothing else really other than that needs changed out in my gear. We are nailed down to the very core of what it is that we need for the Appalachian Trail through hike. I'm just nailed down to, I even got on garage gun gear because I see everybody with that little yellow thermometer that everybody has, right? I got on there. That thing, they were like $30, $25-$30 for that little thing. I was like, nah, I ain't doing that. Well, the regular X Mid, Lisa writes 2 is, or the regular X Mid 2 I love is not single walled, but the Pro is lighter and the Durston is easy to stake out. 4 stakes, 2 with the vestibule and add more. See, one of the things I like about the Gossamer the 2, now granted, like I said, it's nylon, it's not, and it's single walled, it's not double walled, and it don't have the non-stretchable material. But the one thing I like about it is versus what I like about the trekking bowl pole, dag nabbit, get my language going right, tents versus the freestanding tents at this point. I struggle putting like with my Nemo Dragonfly, I struggled with the rain guard. The Nemo Roar wasn't too bad, but it still had some challenge to it. For me, it did. And then when I got the Gossamer and went out there, boom, 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 you got 4 stakes, set up the corners, 2 trekking poles, put your 2 trekking poles underneath there, and then you got 2 stakes, one at each of the trekking poles, boom, 6 stakes done. And if you want to pop it out the side a little bit more, you put 2 more, 1 on each side, wrap it around a stick, get you a little bit of extra head height so that the condensation, you ain't rubbing the side of the wall or whatever. So boom, 8. And, and I just loved it. The 2 is great. You're going to love it, and it's been used a lot. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm just telling you, I mean, I have set this thing up in the rain. I've set it up in the snow. I've set it up when it was kind of chilly, kind of warm. I ain't set it up at dark yet. I need to do that. At night and stuff. I need to try a night setup as well. But in saying that, I absolutely love Gossamer. The 2. I'm finding out they have another one that's kind of like. It don't have the nylon. It has the other material or whatever, but it's way more expensive. We'll look into that as we move on down the road towards the PCT or the CDT or the Allegheny or something. I'll look at that going on down the road. But for right now, the 2 is my tent unless something happens to it and I got to switch out. That's going to be my tent. That's where we're at for now. So, talking about shakedowns and everything, I've also thought about, to be honest with you, I know that Wolfie is stepping out on the Appalachian Trail January 1st. I have actually thought about not so much stepping out that early or whatever, but maybe riding down to a place where he's going to kind of be backtracking, like meet him halfway somewhere. Like, say he's walking 12 miles this way, I can walk 12 miles that way, meet in the middle. Next day we get up 12 miles and I'm back to the car type of deal. He continues on, I come out. I've thought about doing stuff like that as well. We had a very good conversation on his show, on the interview about that. Some people don't like going back and redoing miles that they've already did. It don't matter to me. And at the end of the day, even when it came to the approach trail, okay, there's a couple people that are subscribers that have reached out to me privately. That's like, look, we're this is pretty much when we're starting or on this day, and we're doing an approach trail, we can hook up whatever you would like. We just didn't put it out there, and I'm like, okay, cool, whatever the case may be. And the approach trail miles, it don't really bother me. I'm going to walk down to the arches the day I get there, which is a mile, just to see them, just to have that all experience moment. Maybe go ahead and take some pictures and do some things while I'm there. And then, come back up. Or, maybe one of the things that I go ahead and just do the steps, go up to the falls, that type of deal, slack pack that, come back down, and then, the next day hitch the ride up to where the trail would be. But I don't think I want to. I think I want to do the approach trail. I really do. And I got one shot. This will be one opportunity for me for right now. There's me and the family was talking about that here the other day. Everything is lined up for now, is lined up for me to hit the approach trail and me to hit the AT, which I'm going to start here in a little bit. I think the new AT got dropped. I think it dropped the 15th. So I'm going to get on there and see what the digital download cost for that is, try to get that done. So, I'm not going to plan much past the first day, but I do kind of want an idea where I'm at, that type of deal. And how far do I got to get to the next shelter, that type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So go from there. But anyway, back on gear, that little thermostat thing, it was like $25-$30. I'm not buying that thing. I'll find some way of figuring out how cold it is and how hot it is when we're out there. But I'm not buying that thing from Garage Gear. And that thing, it's extremely light. I understand that, but it's extremely expensive for what it is. It don't tell the time. It don't do nothing else like that. It's just a thermometer. And I'm not paying $30 for a thermometer. Just like I'm not paying, the cheapest one I found on Garage Gear was, I think, like $45-$50 for a mesh thing for a bottle holder for my strap on my pack. I'm just not doing that. I'm pretty crafty handy. I think I'm going to head over to Hobby Lobby the next couple of days and see what I can get as far as material wise. I am a sewer, okay? So I was raised around my sister, her friends, and my mom and her sisters and my aunts. I can sew. I can use a sewing machine. I'm not afraid to tell you. I know what a hemlock machine is. I know how to cross stitch. I know how to cross latch. I know how to do, I can sew. Let me put it that way. So I can make something to go in that pack for a lot cheaper than $50. I can dang near guarantee that, and it's going to fit my water bottle, and it's going to be more to my needs than what that is, and it'll be breathable. It ain't going to be nothing that's going to hold a bunch of stank and stuff like that. So, but I'm just not paying $50 for something like that. I mean, and there are probably some out there on Amazon. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper or whatever. Now, I will pay the $20 or so for the phone holder that I found on Garage Gear from Gossamer or whatever. I will kind of maybe get that and go from there. When it comes to that, maybe when I'm out on trail or something like that. And then there's still a couple of items that are up in the air whether or not we're not taking on the trail, right? So, as far as when it comes to switching stuff out, rain gear's about it. Might switch the GoPro out and just go with the phone. Don't know yet. And that's about what I would switch out. I'm just gonna be honest with you. We went back to the Speed Goat 6s from Hoka. Even though they're trash compared to the 5s, they're the closest thing to the 5s that are on the market, in my opinion. My feet have adapted back over well, so it's going to be Speed Goats the whole way, unless the 7s are completely unusable. I got to be careful with what shoes I do switch to on trail. Yeah. I don't see, other than rain gear, I don't see literally a whole lot of changes. Make it to Parisburg. I got you a Gossamer Gear water bottle holder you can have. Trust me, I will make it. And I will be on there and you'll be like, okay, I know where you're at. And you can bring it out, whatever, but I'll still have one before then. You know what I mean? Because it's, and it may be one of the things. For those of you who've been on through hikes and stuff, I don't know Chase or any of the other ones out there, One Adventures on here or whatever. Brock, obviously you've done some and everything too. Lisa and y'all. Maybe it's something I find in a through hiker box too. You never know. But I'm going to try to make something. I really am. So, and go from there. So, we just been just at random doing questions, so they popped in our head. We was hoping there'd be more questions pop up on the screen tonight than what has, but that's okay. We still had great conversation. We've had a great time here so far. This week we will get the 4 questions out. Last week we didn't get the 4 questions out, so I was like, I gotta scramble and make something work. So we'll make this work. And then Brock's like, just make your own. And that's what we'll do. I'm not gonna spend the $45-$50. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's just not like. I look at this thing, all right, and I'm sitting there staring. I'm going. Only thing that is like, I mean, I can go get a laundry hamper thing from Walmart, cut it, nylon thread sew it to the length that I need it as far as a bottle wise. I'm going to have, like, not even Walmart, just go to dollar store. I'll have, or 5 and below, I'll have like $5 in material in making this thing, and hook a carabiner to it and be done. Put a loop with a 550 cord around the top and carabiner to it and done. I have 2 C-Tug bottle holders, chicken tamper gear is what I'm talking about. It was on here. I'm going to pull it up. It was on Garage. Let me pull it up. Y'all know I got my other screen here. Garage gear. I'm pretty sure it was chicken tamper gear. I'm pretty shouldered hemp pockets, pouches, and wallets. So here we go. Let me see what it was as I'm looking here. Yes, chicken tamper gear, water bottle sleeve by Chicken Tamper Gear, $35 now. Actually, sorry. And it says, stay hydrated on the go with C-Tug's water bottle sleeve. The sleeve attached to secure your backpack strap regardless of size or brand, as long as there's loop or webbing on the strap. Depending on your height, easily adjust accessory to your shoulder strap to ensure comfortable fit. Note these water bottle sleeves are not a good fit with the C-Knock Visa or whatever. The wide 1 liter will fit a Visa, but it will be loose. For a water bottle sleeve specifically designed for C-Knock Visa, see the C-Tug's website. And like I said, for what it's made out of and what it is, I'm pretty sure I can make that thing. Maybe. We're going to try. Etsy's, Jason's, Etsy's, Justin ULA. So, okay. Now, we have a guy, Mike, that is our Etsy expert, right? Let's see see if he throws in here. It'd be interesting to see. Is it Hike with Mike or is it the other Mike? I can't remember. But one of the two they are the Etsy experts. So we'll see what their chime in is. But I need to look there as well because, I mean, I just don't see spending that much, right? I just don't see spending that much I just don't. I'm not saying it's not good quality and it's not worth it. I just don't see it. And then, like I said, we're making our own cozy, right? They have a cozy on here right now. I'm looking at Garage on here. $49. Really? I mean, hiking gear made by hikers. Okay. Then they have another one. It's on here. It's for $15. That's more reasonable. Considering I paid $5 for that and the duct tape I already had. So, boom, there you go. Even the zipper strap pocket holder by Chicken Tamper Gear, like the pocket holder they have, it's on here. Those are $40. It's like when you start getting into like a lot of these little accessories. I'm sitting here looking at it live as we're going. You start looking at some of these little accessories and go from there. Now the Goshmere has a shoulder pocket strap gear for $20. See, to me that's reasonable. That's reasonable. And Goshmere is a good trusted name brand, right? But there's just little things. Now, one thing I agree, like the hydration system for 28 millimeter water bottles. One hydration, I'm probably going to get that. That's $28. I'm probably going to get that thing. But we'll go from there. Dixie made many of them using Justin's UL holder. It's like $14. So there you go. I'll go back and watch Dixie's videos and see if she's got it on there and see what I got. I like watching Dixie videos anyway. That was a bad moment. Oh. Woo! About drowning myself. That's okay. I mean, okay. I don't think it was worth it if it's the the smart bottle style bottles perfectly, like the Migo bottle. See, now it's what I have. I have the Migo bottle. Hey, I got one you can have, Jim. I forgot a new one. I forgot a new one with something I ordered. Just let me know where to mail it to. Okay. So let me see. Can I put this up here? Let me see. 106. I don't know if this will work, but we'll try. Nobody send me a bag of poop, okay? There's my address. So, anyway, because you just never know. There's that one guy supposed to send the glitter bags of little poop emojis, you know what I mean? But that's okay. Even though I got those, it'll be fine. I got a glitter bomb once in the mail, but that's beside the point. So anyway, yes, that works. So yeah, I'm just sitting here saying there is a lot of stuff, and thank you. I appreciate the offer. If you want to send me that, I appreciate it. I'm sitting here looking at a pot cozy by Tokes, $9.95. That's not bad. That's not bad. You know, that's not bad at all. But the food rehydration pouch, $48. Nope, sorry. I can make my own. You know, I don't need a bunch of these little packs like spork holding pouch. Okay, I'm taking a spork and I'm taking chopsticks. I am determined on this through hike to learn how to use chopsticks for the first time in my life. So I don't know if that's gonna be a wise decision, but by God, we're gonna try. Right? We got a few more minutes left. Let's see what we got here. I want to jump over to see we got gear. Backpacks, quilt bags, tents, shelters, sleeping pillows, nope. Pots, mugs, utensils. So we've got our utensils, water containers, plastic containers, stoves. I'll take a look at some of the stoves because I do have, see, that ain't too bad. I wonder what the weight is on that. I have the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe, which I think is heavy. A couple people have recommended some other things as far as whatever, but that Pocket Rocket, can we just admit it's pretty much, the Pocket Rocket is probably one of the most tried and true stoves on the market. No, I'll end up using it. You can dang sure guarantee it. Message me later. It's Brandon. Okay, yeah, I'll message you. I got you on YouTube now. You will have plenty of time. What coffee are you... See, I typed it up there, but I didn't know if y'all could see it or not. What coffee are you taking on the trail for the morning? So, this has been... Oh, wow. This is its own topic altogether, Jason. So, I started out with Folgers Instant. It's nasty. I've tried Maxwell House. It's nasty. I think I'm going to go with Death Wish. I think I'm going to try some Death Wish coffee here before long. With the instant, see how it is, because I gotta have a little bit strong type of coffee. Death Wish is made by veterans, made by veteran companies, different stuff like that. So I'm really into. Oh, sorry about the belly. I'm really into the Death Wish coffee. Sorry about the belly on the shirt. I pulled back, stretching there for a second. Fanny packs, plastic containers, power banks, headlamps, flashlight, lanterns, navigation tools, GPS optics, smartwatches, hygienes. So let's get into let me look over here real quick. So I'm just going to take some travel size toothpaste. It's 99 cents. That's just what I'm going to take. I got to Black Rifle instant coffee. Go from there. So I love the regular Folgers by instant. That's what I'm drinking now is regular Folgers. I too am a regular Folgers type of guy, but in saying that, I'm not taking a French press or anything like that with me. So it's pretty much going to be a heat up your water bowl, dump it in there, stir it up, kind of drink it down type of thing. So JB Notlaw says Black Rifle instant coffee. I'll try that too because, like I said, I need my coffee to be strong for the morning. And then, believe it or not, for the mornings, we're going to be, for breakfast, we're going to be having like some oatmeal, maybe a cereal bar or something like that, and then a little pot of mashed potatoes every morning. So, why mashed potatoes? I don't eat mashed potatoes in the morning now, but why am I eating mashed potatoes? Calories, man. Calories. Peanut butter snacks throughout the day, noodles, different things, lots of peanut butter, stuff I put olive oil on, honey on. A little bit of tuna here and there. Don't want to over tuna because you can over tuna. You milling your resupply, not much choice on coffee on the trail. Unfortunately, I'm not doing a whole lot of milling as far as resupply boxes. Logistically, for me, it's a nightmare. With everything that's going back home, I'm dumping enough on my family as it is by me leaving. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. So there might be times I just don't have coffee. It just is what it is. But I'm going to try my dangest to get as much coffee and stuff as I can. Carbs on trail. So carbs, yes, carbs is important. Not as much as calories, though. Calories is the thing. And plus, I will be coming into this after being on the weight loss shots. So we will see. And we're trying to figure out a way for me to be able to do the weight loss shots while on trail anyway. But I don't think I am. I think I'll do them all the way up to the trail, stop taking them, and then when I come back off the trail, start taking them again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are getting there. We are getting there. So we're talking about coffee, right? So I like a tea every now and then. Tea might be kind of decent to do. Easier pack and stuff like that. It's, it's not the same as coffee, but it works. But we're getting there. So let's get into what we got going on this week. We got Christmas coming up, right? So Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. For those that it's not Christmas and it's Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. I don't know what the rest of the holidays are, so whatever they are, blessings, 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 greetings, greetings, greetings. There you go. I don't know what they are. I do know that this week we got Christmas coming up. It was supposed to be a fairly lovely week for hiking. It's turned out it's supposed to be raining the next 6-7 days. We're going to get out there and do some hiking, do some videos for you folks anyway when we can. And then we got Christmas coming up as well. And then, of course, you got New Year's Eve coming up. A lot of college football get ready happen. And then we got Wolfie starting January the 1st. So at Amicalola or at Springer Mountain. So we need to be throwing some support towards Wolfie being out there on the 1st. I think as far as my subscribers, he's the only one I have that's starting on the 1st. I have some other people starting through February, Tent Life Crisis and a few others, and go from there. I've been out the past may take Christmas Day off. I'll probably take Christmas Day off unless it's one of the prettier of the days. But I think tomorrow I'm going to go down and hit up Ace, maybe, or I want to go ahead and do the second part of that Wren Trail because they're getting ready to close Wren down on both ends. They got the grant to replace both bridges down there and the walk that goes up around the rock, the presidential rock there. So they're going to be doing a lot of work. They're saying that that's going to be closed possibly even through the regular season, so we'll see. But I saw that on the New River Gorge Rim News thing, so I'm probably wanting to get down and do a film of that one before too much longer to make sure we get the Wren Trail Part 2 in. There's a few more. I got to do Stone Cliff. I got to do the Church Trail. I got a few other trails. Now, I could technically do the Kennard trails if I start at Kmart and hike up to Kennard and go into it that way. There's only 2 or 3 trails there at Kennard. So technically I can do it that way, but I'm looking at doing some camping if I have to do that because that's going to be some serious miles. And the places to camp, Kennard's not one of them for me. I don't. I just been down Kennard. If I go down Kennard, the judge is going with me. If you know, you know. But anyway, so we got a lot of stuff coming up. We got some videos coming up. We got some gear review videos coming up. We got our new Thermarest mat that's supposed to be in any day now. Of course, we got the gear coming out every day. To Take a Hike with Jim t-shirt, Take a Hike with Jim mug. We got our other t-shirt, our other mugs that are coming in as well. We've had a hat ordered. I'm waiting to see how that hat looked and fit and see if that was pretty good when the subscriber gets that. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. Because I don't even have a hat myself yet. I'm waiting for my hat. My hat says January 5th is when it says my hat will be here. So we're waiting to see how that goes. A couple trails, a couple gear review videos, and a couple live streams. So with the road closed, if you hike from Thurman side, the campground at Kennard will be empty. I'm willing to bet. I'm betting that the campground at Kennard will be empty anyway because you can't get down the mountain to it anyhow. Nobody's going to be walking into it. there's still some pretty shady stuff that goes on down there. I got a friend that lives like right at that, or not far from, I mean, like within, like you said, walking distance. I mean, he was talking yesterday, ain't far from them at all. But there's some weird stuff that happens down there. I've been down there at night too fishing. Anyway, so I don't know about camping there, so to speak, but we'll see how it goes, because that would be a major. You're looking at 7 miles out. You can get up to the Brooklyn Trail and all that, so 7, 10, 11, 12 out, and then from there walk beside about. You're not going to be able to get up to the one trail even from bottom. You're just not going to be able to, because the road's completely closed off, so you can't hike the road. You can't go up the side of the mountain anymore, because that whole side of the mountain's gone. I didn't know if you knew that or not. The whole side of the mountain is gone. Stone Cliff does have camping, so you could camp there. Stone Cliff, that'd be nice camping. Go down, do a nice hike, and do whatever. That'd be good. You got the Brooklyn campground, which would be, I guess, okay. I don't know. I ain't been out there for a long time. But like I said, down Kennard, I'm going to be able to get to 2 trails, maybe out of the rest of them. So anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm just sitting here. So we got the 50 West Virginia hikes. We're looking at some things there and going from there. So we got some books. We got some different things we're going to be doing. And everything with the holiday season. So tonight wasn't too bad. Our subscribers started going back up. We stalled out there for about 230, went all the way down to 227, and sat there for about 5 days. Now starting to shoot back up. We're at 240 subscribers. Thank you so much to all of you that subscribe. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe and give us the thumbs up right here on the channel. And Friday is going to be Subscribers Appreciation Night. We'll read your comments throughout the week. We got some good ones already, so make sure you comment and everything on there. And let's just get ready. Let's start getting ready, because as of January 1, let's buckle down the hatches. Let's get ready to rock. And then Jason, just future-wise thinking. I come off the trail. Let's look at, I know, because right now you still got to do some gear and stuff like that, laying all jokes aside. When I come off the Appalachian Trail, let's look at doing the Greenbrier Valley River Trail. It's going to take about 7 days to do it. We'll park one vehicle at one end and hop in your vehicle or my vehicle, ride to the other end, and we'll walk the whole thing and then drive back down. It only takes 20 minutes to drive it, 7 days to walk it. We'll go up and do the Greenbrier Valley River Trail, maybe the Allegheny Trail next year sometime, do some camping. Canaan Valley. I'd like to get a veterans hiking group together next year here in West by God. So much to do, so little time. So anyway, folks, I'm tired of rambling on. I'm sorry about rambling on. Thank you so much for this week. I was hoping to be more questions. I've had a lot of great gear. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Brock. Thank you, JB. And everybody else. My hike with Mike, Jason, everybody. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate each and every one. Merry Christmas. And we will see you Friday on Subscribers Appreciation. Make sure you comment on the videos as we go. I only got one more question on